Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All
No video.
All right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world. 5 years. And that's still, it's a pretty big milestone, man.
Oh, yeah. No, it was good from that standpoint. I mean, I enjoyed working there. I made a lot of good friends and stuff like that. But it's time to pursue my passion, I think, more than anything. And that soccer was my passion. So that was one of the things I wanted to do.
I think it's super cool. I mean, so 25 years. What did you do at London? Or what, like
I last 7 years, I was a store manager.
Okay. So you're right in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Bless you, man.
Bless
you, man.
Those 7 years can be pretty...
I love
that's when the market was changing as well. That was like 2008 when we were hitting that real downward slope. And a lot of changes were being made at that point. Some of them were crazy, but you just kind of have to deal with them, and then you just kind of go from there and made the best of it. And in the mean, this is where I wanted to go. All the time I was always doing this while I was working at London Drugs, right? So for me, this was an eventuality, just waited for the right opportunity, and it came up here.
You knew that this was
yeah
Okay,
timing was right, it was perfect, and get a position where it could be a full-time position, so it worked out perfect for me. So
but so we'll crack into this as well, but I feel like, when we talk to, because one of the elements on this show is we talk to folks that do make changes in their life, and they all say the same thing. They all say timing was perfect, but I think my thing on that is timing isn't perfect. It's only perfect because you knew where you wanted to go and you prepped to be
for
there.
It. Well, and that's the thing. There was quite a few years of building my resume on the soccer side to be able to get into that position where it was perfect. So there was a lot of work on the back end.
Hey, where were you?
Hey,
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Listen, I got a meeting at 6 o'clock. It ran till now. And they're still stressing me out on a fucking text. What do you mean now? Oh my God. Where you been? I was waiting for you guys. I think I was on a different meeting.
I was just emailing you when Phil came on.
You're a buckle. I'm sorry.
How you doing, Bella?
I love you, so it's okay. Yeah, good. No, seriously, everything's good.
Yeah. Good, buddy.
Yeah, everything's good. You look good.
Thanks, buddy.
Same.
Yeah.
He's got the nice Whitecaps background there.
No, this is TRU background.
Oh, sorry. TRU. I'm literally a soccer idiot, so I apologize.
Because
before we go too far,
I have a Whitecaps Academy here too.
Yeah.
So,
Tomorrow.
What's that?
Italy, Turkey, what's going to go?
Oh, 2-0. Italy.
2-0. What do you think? Both in a second?
What's that?
Both goals in the second. They're going to put. They go early.
One in the first, one in the second.
Okay.
2-0. It'll be good. It's about time. We got a good squad.
Did you see that face? He's just like, no, this is the way it's going to be.
He's a soccer expert. Look at him. He looks like a pro.
So I got to tell you this. This is kind of funny. This has happened to me twice today, because this morning, my wife works at the Royal Ontario Museum, and she says to me, I gotta show this stuff to my boss, right? I got these sets of numbers, and I think he's gonna freak out. And she said, there's kind of all this stuff going on. And I said to her, okay, but what are you gonna show him? She's like, I got all these numbers. And I said, he's got to figure out what the story is. And I said, well, do the numbers tie? So she looks at me, The same look that you just had, right? Was like, they're my numbers. They tie. And I was like, Sorry, dear.
Pardon me.
I'm just gonna go lie down on the couch now. I apologize. I have no idea. Like I didn't mean it like that, but clearly, I'm sorry. I'll kiss the ring, right? And just now, that was the same look. You're like, no, 2-0. Like
that's why I asked. That's
I
why
want to talk about this. This is not.
That's why I asked him. I asked the questions. Go right to the Jesu Cristo and ask the question. Right to the top we go. We don't waste no time on the bottom ring.
Absolutely.
Right to
We're
the
not going to
top.
talk about it. This is the score. This is where we go.
That's it.
And that's it.
I got a buddy who was asking me too, and he goes, I'm betting that Italy wins. I said, well, that's a given. And he goes, they're going to score the first within 23. And I thought, man, that's Italians. They're not that good for the 23 minutes.
No.
Said, I don't know, you could get 2 at 55 and like 61, but even the first half is a dicey one.
Yeah.
Because if they get the first goal too early, they're not going to hold it because they're then they get stupid.
Late in the first half, and then.
Yeah, okay, I got to tell them about 2.
2-0.
Okay, I told him 2-0 late.
Wait, are you placing a bet, or are you?
It's not. It's not illegal. It's not like we're peddling heroin here. It's a sports bet.
We're not on Bet360. We're okay.
What the hell, right? Late in first.
Man.
Okay.
Intros.
I can. It's okay. So this is gonna be funny for you, John. So
yeah,
I've known John for 25. No, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Almost 30 years. Go back from the London Drugs days. I've known him for forever. Love John.
I was
wanted him to come on. He was actually okay. We're not going to get into that story. That's a whole different podcast. Okay. Even though this is all about retail, and that's a classic retail story, I don't think it should be told.
This. Like, what?
We're not going to talk about it right now.
The listeners can't see it, but I can see Kenny's face.
I don't look it in the story. That's why.
It's already, and Kenny's like, no.
It's a great story. We'll have to get into that.
Do you want me to just mute him for a second, and then you can...
What's the difference? He's going to tell it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'm going to tell it anyways.
Anyway, I've known John for a million years. I reached out to John to come on because I thought it'd be cool because, we talk so much business, and John has done some was with London Drugs for a million years, went and did his own things. Now coaching up in Kamloops, etc. And I thought it'd just be really cool to get a perspective of, what's going on in sport, the business of sport, how's COVID impacted sport, what John thinks. And then I took this funny. So Joe, I talked to Phil yesterday and go, I don't know what we're going to talk to John about because I don't know if there's any business in this. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I wanted John because I just love John. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I just thought it'd be nice. I got excited, but I don't know if there's any story to be told. So I said, you better go online, do a little research because I don't know what we're going to talk about because, we'll just end up talking, Kenny, old times. We could talk a little sports.
Kenny made me break the rule, right? Because our rule is don't prep.
No, I said you have to because otherwise we're just going to talk.
Yeah.
But I don't know what we're going to talk about outside of 2-0 late in the first half, the first goal. We got that part.
John and I figured this out already.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited you're on. One, because I haven't talked to you in ages. Yeah. And it's a shame that we don't all keep together, especially since it's easy now we could do this. But I was excited to have you on because I thought it'd be kind of cool just to talk about something outside of our normal retail, even though you have a lot of retail experience, but even sort of the transition of how you go from so many years with a company. You start from literally stock boy. You did your schooling. You got stuck with people like me and Ambrosio and Russo and all the rest of the clowns. And how you went through, became a store manager in a great spot, in a great location. Nobody really bugging you because you're far enough from head office. And you decide that, well, okay, no, I really should just go coach soccer, which I know is your first love. And that's great. Yeah. Well, mine might be higher than soccer, I hope. But, it's up there. So that's what I thought. Let's have him on. She better be high. She won't listen. If she's like our wife, she won't listen to this anyway. Don't worry about it. You can say whatever you want. They don't tune in. So that's sort of why I thought it'd be kind of cool to have you on. I just thought I just like you. So what the hell?
Thanks, buddy. I love you too.
That's our podcast, so we can do whatever we want.
Exactly. There's no real rules, is there?
No.
Can you tell?
Actually, there are.
We don't even show up on time.
Exactly. It was funny. I was just emailing you going, am I missing something? Because I got my calendar set up. I got meetings. Yeah.
I lifted it 14 times.
I even have training after this.
Oh man, O'Malley.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Okay, I won't say no more. Okay,
it's okay. I told my assistant coach I was on with my buddy here. So
okay, that's good.
He's taking charge.
Okay, good.
Oh, good.
So anyway, Phil, that's sort of your introduction. So it's more of a friendship for years.
Yeah, you guys tell me what you want.
We love it. Good. So I mean, so before you jumped on, John and I were talking about his 25 years of experience, and then he said something that I love, but I also like kind of picked at a little bit, right? Which is, he said, the timing was perfect, like when he left at 25 years, and then he was able to get into coaching. And I said to him, everybody who makes a great transition says that, but I don't think it's not about perfection. It's about all of the prep work that you do ahead of time, right? Because he was starting to, just kind of talk a little bit about how soccer was a really big part of his life, and he was starting to think about that. So I'd love to, I think the way we normally start is we kind of let you wander where you want to go, whatever you want to tell the audience in terms of your background and your experience. They've heard a little bit about you. If you want to, I think we'd love to hear a little bit about where you were at London Drugs, how you started, and then, but I really would like to pick apart Perfection a little bit, because I think the work that you did to get there, there's a serendipitous moment, but it's serendipitous because you did all the work to be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Do you know?
And I think that's what people need to understand. It's not something, it's not serendipity where it just sort of happens. You have to plan a whole ton of shit to get into a spot where luck happens. And that's why I always give people and say, well, he's lucky. How is he lucky? He spent 25 years doing something. He got lucky. But after 25 years of working, you hope you got a little bit lucky, right? It's kind of that mentality.
Yeah. So do you want to where do you feel like jumping in? How much do you want to tell our?
I mean, I can jump right in. I mean, it's I'm originally from Kamloops. It's good to be back home, but I spent my formative years here, and I ended up going to Simon Fraser University, made the big move, to Vancouver, went to Simon Fraser University on a soccer scholarship, and was there for 4 years. And during that time, actually, is the money was a little tight because I like spending cash, and as a kid in university, so I needed a job. And a buddy of mine, George Gasparo, was working at London Drugs at the time, and so he got me a job, my first kind of real job. Didn't know what I was doing. Ended up working for Deb Shock out in Kerrisdale, and found really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed working there. I think I'm a fairly well-rounded people person, and I worked hard, and it was a good job while I was in school. And then during that time as well, soccer was huge for me. I was a captain at Simon Fraser University, and graduated, ended up signing a contract with the Vancouver 86ers, who were in the CSL kind of at that time. And as a Canadian soccer player, you're making money, but you're not making that great of money. So, as a part-time, I was still working at London Drugs while I was playing soccer. But soccer was definitely where I wanted to be. I mean, even going to university, I try not to tell my players this currently at university. I mean, it was soccer first, school second. School was a means to get paid to go play soccer. So for me, that was it. And I played a couple of years with the 86ers, and at that time, after I graduated, I had some decisions on whether I was going to go to Europe or stay in Canada. I had a couple opportunities, and as a 25-year-old back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was pretty difficult to try and make a living out of the game, and I had student loans. So I made a tough decision just to kind of work, full time. And for me, I knew I had those management opportunities at London Drugs, and I took those opportunities and just kind of worked from there. And next thing I know, 25 years later, and I start working with Bakalas like Kenny and all these other guys, and I made a lot of really good friends and started to move up the ladder, fairly quickly, and and then it just kind of morphed from there. But always during that time was always continuing to play soccer. And then once I got into my kind of early 30s to late 30s, I knew coaching was what I wanted to do, not just play. I wanted to coach. So I knew I wanted to coach as high levels as I could, as much as I played it, and coaching was a big thing for me. And I just continued to build my resume kind of from that point, knowing that, soccer would evolve in Canada where you could make a full-time living out of it. I mean, even at that time in the early 2000s, it was still really difficult to get a full-time position in the game of soccer, where where you didn't have to be transient, you didn't have to be a gypsy. It was sometimes like back in the early 2000s, like literally you would have a job for 2 years, then you'd have to go to another little town and another little town. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to coach at a high level, and worked from there, got all my official licensing. Then I got my Canadian National A license, and in 2007 I worked side jobs, my own business, my own academy, all those type of things while I was working at London Drugs.
Wow.
And then what I did at that point, then I started working at Thompson Rivers University, which is in my hometown back in Kamloops. I was able to transfer with London Drugs back to Kamloops. I knew I wanted to come back home eventually. And from 2007, I was working kind of like as a co-head coach, building my resume, getting all my certification, really learning, really trying to hone my craft. I had the playing career on my side. Now, to get these positions, you have to really know what you're doing on the coaching side. You really have to build your resume. And then the opportunity came up in 2013. Obviously, being an ex-player with 86ers Whitecaps, there was that link of having the academy here. The guys at the Whitecaps wanted me to start the academy here. TRU was going to go to CIS, which at that point was the highest level of university soccer in Canada, which is what I wanted to do. And then the opportunity came up, and I had all my ducks in a row. I put all my hours and time in, the previous 20 years to get it where it was. And when the opportunity came, I jumped at it, and it all worked out for me. And it was probably the happiest day of my life, even though I loved working at LD and I made a lot of good friends and I knew a lot of people, and it was just the right time, the right opportunity. And now here I am 7 years later as a head coach, and we've had a lot of success at the university, and we're continuing to build from there.
So where's
the serendipity? You're working full time. You're coaching practically full time. Running an academy, all that stuff.
I don't want to ruin the moment for you, right?
But it's a lot of work. But what it shows you is you can do it, but it doesn't come easy. Like you got to really, you got to put the time and effort into it. Yeah. To make things happen. It doesn't just happen.
Well, and that's what I tell my guys now that I'm coaching. We're trying to get well-rounded athletes. Like a lot of my guys are academic all Canadians, smart guys. They want to become professional soccer players, and I said you can do both. I said you can be a professional soccer player and get your education and do all the things that you need to do, but you got to put the work and the time in. You've got to plan, you've got to organize, you got to time manage, you've got to do all those things. So I'm trying to get a lot of my guys to follow the path of what I did, because I've been there. So, and I can tell them, hey,
you can coach them through it.
Yeah, coach them through it. I did it. And I still had a good time. It's not like I was in my room studying the whole time. I mean, I went out and I enjoyed myself and was able to do things. But when the bell rung, you had to answer the bell. And thankfully for me, I've been able to really, like, I pinch myself every day when I see kind of what I'm doing. And sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, I'm getting paid for this. This is crazy, and the stress.
Only for a tiny second then. Like, no, really, like
they not getting paid enough.
Some days, we were in Los Angeles last year for 9-10 days, taking the guys down to LA and just having a blast at the beach. And we're all looking at each other going, okay, this is crazy.
No, tiny second. Like
only for a millisecond. And then you know what? You're not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
I should be paid more for doing this. Yeah. You know how much responsibility I have?
Oh yeah.
You know who I am?
No, yeah. No, exactly. But you know what? It's pretty awesome. You know, now I sit and I go, geez, I wish I would have did this even sooner when I was younger. You know, like, but the opportunities really weren't there. Like I look at a lot of the guys I coach against now; they're all in their, you know, early to mid 30s.
Let me ask you something though. So
you wouldn't have been able to do this 25 years ago.
One, you probably wouldn't have been able to, because then it's a timing issue sometimes in terms of society and where things are at in general. But I'm assuming that a lot of the managerial stuff you do at LD at that time lends into coaching, because what are you doing when you're a store manager, really?
Yeah. Well, coaching, I mean, we're managing budgets. We're managing like all the type of things, but in coaching in university now too, it's not just about coaching soccer. You have to fundraise. You have to be in the community. You have to, a lot of things that I did managing 120 employees. Now it's great because I'm only doing 30. So it's a little bit easier, but these guys take up a lot of your time. You know, You're usually their first phone call. If something happens, they're not calling their parents, they're calling you. Yeah. They don't want their parents to know what's happening, what's going on. So now you're like a father, figure as well. So, you know, I have to make sure money in, money out. I'm following budgets. I'm doing what I need to do. I need to bring, if I want to do extra, I've got to get out, hit all my business contacts, sponsors. Because you know, at universities as well, like there's only so much money coming in,
right?
So if you want to be a top 10 program, like the last 3 years, even though we're a fairly new program in U Sport, a lot of people didn't know TRU and where we were. You know, we started beating the UBCs, we started beating the U of A's. You know, last 3 years we've been ranked, you know, the top 10 in Canada at some point, like throughout the year. We've won a national bronze, two Canada West bronze for a small program. Like we're a minnow, like in the whole thing. For us to be able to do that in the last 3-4 years is pretty crazy. Some programs have been around 30, 35, 40 years and haven't won a medal yet.
That's amazing.
So for us to do that, you have to do a lot of work, not just on the field, but off the field too. You got to bring money in.
Right.
To bring money in to get good players to come here. You know, I'm recruiting from all over the world. We're bringing players in from everywhere. You know, you've got to sell them that Kamloops is the place to be, because a lot of people have never heard of Kamloops.
It's a hard sell, buddy. I'll tell you. Outside of Vancouver and British Columbia, what do you have?
Been there,
buddy. It was hard. It was hard.
That's tough one.
It was hard to get kids from Vancouver to come here.
I know. I pushed one of them to you. Remember?
It's like Siberia.
Yeah, I pushed one to you. Yeah. Because same thing. I don't know. It's no goal.
Yeah.
But now it's
now it's a different story.
Yeah.
Our best friend's kids are our kids, and the youngest one plays with Marco plays with him. Yeah. So when I was telling
Marco loves it.
But he does. But I also told him, you're going to love John. I said he'll take care of you. He'll yell at you just like your dad would.
Yeah.
Yeah. He froze, but
different. He'll get it.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but now it's different. In the last 3 years, we've been able to really build. Now I got kids from all over the world that want to come.
So you're attracting really. So what do you do? What are you looking at? You going to films, or you go and play your phone in Italy?
How do you?
Yeah.
Like, where do you go?
Well, we just make contacts. A lot of guys that I've played with over the years, you know, are living in different countries.
I guess so.
You start making contacts from guys all over the world. Like I've got a boy from Spain, Jan Paredes, you know, played for Bayer Leverkusen. What was the other? Another club in England there, Blackburn. You know, he was Virginia Tech's top recruit. Kid talks 4 languages, speaks 4 languages. He something happened with one of the contracts that he signed at Blackburn. He had a problem with the NCAA. Canada's rules are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I was able to sell him here at TRU. Other schools had no way of going, what are you doing? You know, and then now he's one of the top players in U Sports, and he's going to get his master's now. You know, he was an academic All-Canadian. He's just got everything.
Wow.
You got a kid from Leverkusen to come to Kamloops.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You are some salesman.
No, seriously. I mean, you're either
just sell.
I've been to Leverkusen. Leverkusen's nice. It's
and
nice.
He's a top quality kid too.
Wow. And it's not that Kamloops isn't nice, but
No. I mean,
really,
Leverkusen's nice, and it's got pharma money, right? Like all the big, Bayer and Pfizer and all those guys are based out of Leverkusen.
Yeah,
so it's a nice little town in Germany. Like
wow.
Yeah. Well, he's originally from Barcelona as well, too, right? So to get him to come from Barcelona to Kamloops, like it was a sell.
That's a culture shock, man.
But you know what? He loves it here. After his first year, he got his Canadian tattoo.
That's awesome.
We've got him jobs like he's working at Bank of Montreal now with one of our contacts through there, and he wants to get into the human resource side, but he got drafted 3rd overall in the CPL, so he's a CPL caliber. I think an MLS caliber player.
Wow.
He just needs to be given the opportunity to go, and he's full package. These are the type of kids I'm getting now, and it's opening up doors for a lot of other Canadian kids. Like we just signed 3 kids in the last 2 years from the Whitecaps MLS Academy. They never come here. They usually go to UBC or one of the bigger schools or down in the States. So for us to get them to come here was pretty amazing. And I hopefully have another kid coming next year if he doesn't sign a first team contract, a homegrown contract. So he's committed to here already.
But again, it'd be back to this sort of the serendipitous thing. It's not that you've been around a long time. Your reputation is solid. People know you. You're proving it on the field. Like you're getting wins. You guys are, Thompson River's not that old. How old is the university?
Well, the university, like I went
program.
1 year, the program 7 years.
What the hell, right? I mean, it's a baby.
Oh yeah, we're a baby.
I mean, kids are passing up, going to the States, and
Yeah.
I mean, even UBC and SFU. I mean, they may not be I don't know if they're the greatest sport university. They're good universities, ranked high, but to grab people to come up to Kamloops, as well as I do, that's a feat.
That's a feat. Yeah, to get kids to not go to UBC or SFU. I mean,
come on, seriously.
I mean, that's my alma mater, right? Is SFU. So if a kid doesn't come to me and goes to SFU, I'm okay with that. Like that.
Yeah, you don't want to go to UBC
because SFU is a good quality program. But if I can convince a kid not,
I think it's amazing that you can actually do that.
Come here. Yeah, no, it. But like you said, it takes a lot of work, a lot of time spent in the background, kind of recruiting, and I'm by myself. I don't have 3-4 coaches because we just don't have the money to be able to pay assistant coaches, to come on full time. So it's my buddies and ex-players that are helping me coach, and they put their time in because they want to be there.
And it's volunteer then at that point, really.
Yeah, really for the time they put in, it's volunteer.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's a good group of guys, and the kids love it here. And I didn't have kids on my own, but I always say I have 28, and
every year they change, which is even better. You can get rid of them. You don't get stuck with them for 28 years.
Yeah, there's always a couple that are.
Children always come back.
Even when they're not yours, they come back, right?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Wow,
yeah, no. So from that perspective, it's turned out good. But like you were saying, you do use a lot of your management backgrounds and business skills on all different aspects of it when dealing with people. In the community. We do a lot of community stuff as well.
What you used to do with London, budgets you used to do with London.
Yeah.
People, whether you coach kids.
Crazy people in the audience wandering down aisle 2.
Exactly.
Same, aisle 2.
Same, right?
Yeah.
But you're always dealing with, high pressure situations. How do you deal with those? I mean, it was no different at London, and we had to deal with all those things. And it's funny because a lot of people sit there and say, well, it's in retail, Well, hey, it's business, man. Business is business. And when you're running a $25 million business,
120 people, it's
it's
not that
it takes a lot of work time.
It may look easy, it's just open doors, but there's a lot of shit that goes behind the scenes, right?
Oh yeah, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort has to be put in. So, and we're just doing the same thing here now. It's just in sport. I mean, a lot of sponsorship that I'm looking for now are big time contracts. We just signed Fit Together, which is a GPS that, a vest that you put on. I mean, it's $20,000 a year in products and services for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
That we're the first university in Canada for Fit Together to come to.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
They're dealing with professional clubs, so we're kind of like the guinea pig in the Canadian university system.
How cool is that, man?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's just simple conversations. You just get to know people, and I'm not afraid to ask. If I get told no, right? If I get told no, I get told no. The good thing
just ask again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just reword it.
Absolutely.
Maybe they didn't quite understand the question. Sometimes you got to reword the question 10 times, 15 times.
The good part is that no is coming a lot less, and it's more, yeah, absolutely.
As you guys grow, then you start doing better. It's yeses are definitely a lot easier.
Well, we're hosting nationals next year for 2022.
Wow.
So we got national bids. So,
Johnny, how old were you when you left London? Sorry, Phil.
No, that's okay.
I was, because when did I leave? 2013, 14. So I'm 55 now.
You're 66 like me?
55. Yeah.
66 the year.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were younger than me.
Yeah. No. 66. So what? 45.
So at 47.
47. Yeah. And then I was coaching. Yeah.
I guess that's interesting too, right? Because I mean, that's
47, 48. Yeah.
Right. That's an interesting age. I mean, Phil and I have had, it's funny. I don't know, maybe it's because we're all getting older. We're more intrigued to see what people our age are doing or how they make changes, but it's trying to understand, you're 48, you got a good gig. You could coast to 65. Nobody's going to be bugging you.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody's running up to Kamloops. They're all going to be in the Lower Mainland, and once in a while.
But you also had to do the work to make sure they did.
100%. Well, absolutely, because otherwise they're up there daily, right?
Oh,
but it's an interesting thing to drop. Years of security. Relatively good pay. The job.
The wife was going crazy. She was panicking. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you didn't walk into a big fat salary.
No, I took a huge pay cut.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, but
yeah,
kind of nuts,
It was a huge pay cut.
And mine too. I went from pay to zero.
Yeah. We all share that here.
Phil's done that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it was definitely culture shock. When the first paychecks and stuff came in, but after 7 years, it's.
Yeah, I mean, you catch up, and even if you don't, you've the best 7 years of your life. So,
but you know what? I was good with it, to be honest with you. For me, this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah,
and this is what my passion was, and I thought, you know what? I'd rather have a jammer on the sideline at 55 than have one in aisle 2 at London. You know what I mean? For me, I was like, because I'm a pretty competitive guy, and I'm like, you know what? If I have a jammer on the sideline. We're up 2-1 against UBC, and that's my time to go. That's
not a bad time to go.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I can live with it.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to stop a shoplifter in aisle 2,
from kitty litter. That's all. Yeah, that's not the jammer you want.
No. Yeah, no, exactly. And I didn't want to do that, right? Yeah. So it was a leap of faith, even though I did put the work in the time. You just never know kind of what.
No, it's still a risk. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a pretty calculated in the sense that you've done all the years of work. In your heart of hearts it's going to go.
Yeah.
You just don't know how fast it's going to go.
Yeah.
But it's going to go. Like you're going to do something with it. You may not have. You didn't anticipate the success you've had.
No, I mean, I did have a 10-year plan of where I wanted to be, and at the end of the day, we kind of hit our goal 7 year, kind of in our 4th year. So it was a bit accelerated.
Yeah.
Now
that's awesome.
Now my 7-year plan is where I thought we would be, maybe at 10, 12.
Right.
And now, COVID obviously put a bit of a slowdown in that, but that's okay. I think we're going to have a squad that's really going to challenge this year, next year. And we're quality, and, hopefully we can meet some of those 10-year goals, this year. No pressure, but if we get close, that's good. I'm okay with that.
So can we go back a little bit? Because I think so I'm not a soccer guy, but like I don't think so. I played lots of sports in my life, baseball, football. They're all the same in that you've got to put in the time and do the practice. You've got to drill the techniques and things like that. So when you started working, how much time did some of this stuff take on the side? Like, 'cause you talked about getting certified for coaching, things like that. Like, I think to the normal, to everybody else who's kind of in retail now that listens to us, that is trying to figure out how to get out. Mm-hmm. I think painting that picture is interesting, right? Is like, do I gotta finish work at like 5 and then I'm gonna spend all night working on this stuff, or is it, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, I think that's a good point. And I'll be honest with you, it was pretty much 7 days a week. I mean, when I was a store manager at London Drugs, mm-hmm. I was also technical director of Kamloops Youth Soccer Association, which was every day and weekends and all that. So on top of that, I was also coaching a BCSPL team, which was based out of Kelowna. So 3 nights a week, I would have to right after work. Yeah, I would have to drive. I was able to get them to move the training to Vernon, which was about an hour and 15 minutes.
Still not next door.
So I'd have to drive to Vernon, do training session, have dinner in Vernon, get home at 11 o'clock, start work on top of still doing my work as a technical director with Kamloops Youth Soccer. So, and I had to bring good people around me as well. But, you're dealing with parents, emails, sometimes till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, weekend games, coaching clinics, all those type of things. So I pretty much, from when I moved to Kamloops in 2004 till about 2007, 2008, that was pretty much my life. Every day.
It's a grind. Yeah.
I don't think people realize that London Drugs is open. Like, London is a 9 till 10 more or less operation, and people before and people after. And it's also 7 days a week. And it's not that you have to work 70-hour work weeks as a manager. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but even at a 40, you still get calls on the weekend. And you still get shit to do, and and you're babysitting literally, because sometimes it feels like babysitting.
Yeah, it's not clean. Right?
120 other kids. And then you got customers who are a whole different level of, interesting.
Yeah. No,
that's absolutely a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Right?
And before 2004, I also had my own business. I had where I was traveling and all through British Columbia and, doing camps and clinics and all those type of things as well. So that was, even when I was in Vancouver, I really started working on the coaching side of things and worked with European Football School. And I was also an assistant coach at Simon Fraser University for a couple of years as well. Wow. So I was there, but 2004, that's where it really started to, the rubber hit the road.
Really started to click.
It really started to click, and getting all my certification, I had to go back to Toronto for a couple of years and go for a couple months there to go get my certification. And still, even at 55, I'm finding right now, for me, education's a huge thing. I mean, I'm trying to find a country to go do my UEFA licensing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and that's just more for me. It's not because like I have aspirations of coaching the Vancouver Whitecaps or anything like that. Although if something like that did come along,
you wouldn't say necessarily know that quickly.
You have to look at these things. But for me, it's more to do the best that I can for myself and my players. Like right now, I probably read more books, go on more websites and magazines, and read more than I ever have now. I think more because it's stuff that I love, so it's easier to read that kind of stuff and go through a book than it was maybe going through my philosophy book while I was in university.
So you didn't study. So we're going to go back to that. You didn't study every single night Philo 302 and Poli-Sci 195.
No, I definitely was not.
Yeah, I like Poli-Sci 190. We have Poli-Sci.
I have no idea what I did. Philo 302. I fucking hated it. So
for me, whatever. It was. I definitely wasn't one of the studious types. My last year at Simon, I put a little bit of time and a little bit of effort in and stuff like that. But really, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, for me, it was all about soccer, and school was my means to
50 and go. That's all you needed. 50 and go.
I was more of a 75.
Hey, 75 and go. What do you want then? You're a rock star.
Yeah. First couple of years, it was about a 50. But
first couple of years, mine too.
Was about a 70.
So you learned the game.
Yeah.
Where's the game going? Like the game seems to be like when you were in a. I mean, like I'm not that far behind you guys, right? I'm 49, right? So the game, I think when we were growing up, was sort of, it had some I feel like I feel like it felt a little bit like the CFL, right? Like it had a bit of a following, and then it dropped off for a long time.
More cultural, I think, too,
Yeah.
Phil. If
Yeah,
you're of European descent,
back
like you were probably really watching. South American descent, you were
European,
watching.
South America.
Asian at that time, probably not so much.
No.
Now, completely, because, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, everywhere.
Well,
everywhere.
plus he's a soccer fanatic. He loves soccer. Like he wants to win the World Cup. He wants China to win the World Cup. Like he's a soccer freak.
But you're seeing leagues in almost every country now, like all over the place. And I think Canada was definitely slow to the gate. I think getting 3 Canadian teams in the MLS was huge for the development of soccer here in Canada, and starting their own academies, developing players. But not just that. Professional coaching has really taken a foothold throughout Canada as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people discount the professional coaching and discount the academies and discount this because they think it's just money-making ventures. But I'm of the attitude that if you do good work and you do a good job, money will follow. But if your first priority is developing players and not so much focused on the money side of things, you're going to develop good players. The money will come as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're learning that probably even right now. If you think about it, when you're joking that you don't get as many no's, the reason you don't get as many no's because you've got a successful team on the field.
Right.
Nobody supports shitty teams in their infancy. You might support the Canadians for a lot of years between cups because it's got heritage and there's legacy. Yeah. Nobody's going to go support, a bullshit team that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and now you're seeing a lot of countries now take a serious look at Canadian players with what happened with Alfonso and look at Jonathan David. Yeah. You look at Jonathan David now and Kyle Larin and Atiba Hutchinson. A lot of times countries wouldn't necessarily look at a Canadian kid. Now it's like, okay, well, Alfonso Davis is pretty damn good. I think we'll give this Canadian kid a look now.
Yeah.
And they're seeing, okay, and the Americans are helping with that too, because the Americans have a lot of quality on their side, and a lot of young kids, signing in the German Bundesliga at 17, like Pulisic and now Gio Reyna and a lot of these kids, right? So it's creating opportunities, and I think that's why once we start seeing the national team hit its stride, I think you're going to see, especially on the guys' side, the women's side's done well. Over the last few years. But I think you'll see that on the guys' side, I think you'll start to see a little bit more happen probably on the guys' side. You'll see a little bit more with the team doing well, players doing well. I think more and more of this will happen over the next couple of years, and you'll see a huge growth.
Is that also so I'm trying to remember, like if I go back like 25 years, like just in our province, you would have UBC and SFU. That would have been it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming U of A might have had a decent team, but their weather's a shit. They don't last that long.
Right.
You go to the UAT or, million universities and not, but you don't have a lot of Thompson River is not a big university. It's, we're not talking, it's not SFU and UBC. They're not 70, 80,000 students. Mm-hmm. I mean, those are big universities. How big is Thompson? And then, is the trend because you got so many new smaller schools coming on, probably coaches like you who give a shit and really want to do well. Yeah. Like, what is it? Like, why all of a sudden, like, who cared?
But I think there's more opportunities now. I think you look in Canada West, there was only 7 schools. So you basically had UBC, UVic, Trinity Western, and I think Fraser Valley on this side. Then you had, U of A, Calgary, MRU, Sask, on the other side, right? But now you've got, now with us, UNBC out of Prince George and UBCO out of Kelowna, Grant McEwen, Lethbridge, there's more opportunities for kids to play and develop because, when you only had 4 schools on this side, it was tough.
It's tough, right?
To try and get into the UBC side or the SFU side or anything like that. It was difficult. Now, kids can sit there and go, hey, I can play at a youth sport level if I go to Prince George.
Right.
To me, what's wrong with that? If I've got an opportunity to play, I would go. Hey,
what's the difference? But they go to Kamloops, they get you to coach them, right? Well, no, you got high caliber coaching and you got winning teams. Why would
and now, but kids don't know that. They wouldn't have known me from.
Hey, you picked up a kid from Barcelona. Oh, I think you did okay. Someone knows you.
it took for me to land a couple kids like that.
Well, for sure.
To get them to come here.
But you still have to land them. They don't land. They're not doing you a favor, right? They're landing because they see some opportunity because you put the work.
And that opens doors. That opens doors for other kids too.
For sure.
Right now. So that's the big thing. But now there's just more opportunity now. So that's why you're seeing probably kids develop a lot more. Now you've got the CPL coming in. So if a kid couldn't play MLS, now he can go play CPL.
Right.
Which is still a very, very good level. Like now U Sports become a very, very, very good level. A lot of people most kids were looking at NCAA going down south and stuff like that. Now Canadian kids are going, hey,
stay home.
Stay home. Now I can stay home. I know some kids that, their parents are $100,000 in debt, after going to an American school, because not every kid gets a full scholarship when they go down there. Right. So now there's opportunities in Canada. Now kids are starting to develop. There's more opportunities to play. They're getting better coaching. So, you're only going to see the game grow in Canada as far as I'm concerned. It's only going to get better and better.
It's pretty amazing. So my neighbor across the street, his daughter, grown up on the street, watched her from a little kid, literally the fastest kid I've ever seen in my life all the time. Right. And she picked up soccer, loved it, played, kind of that story, right? Like played, started to pick up like rep, sort of stuff. And she jumped like 2 levels up, was playing, whatever. And she is going to university next year. And so I was kind of joking. I said, hey, it's amazing. She's going to school. Is she going for soccer? And he said, it's funny because we thought with the pandemic and everything going on that we weren't going to be able, like, she'd just be lost, right? Like there wasn't any way for, if people hadn't seen her play before, that she wasn't going to, she just wasn't going to get any opportunities, right? But she had 3 universities come. One, the coach at McMaster saw her play through some of the rep leagues and said, yeah. Get over here, right? And then but Western through the pipeline had never seen her play, but the coaches somehow know each other, and the coach said, well, if she likes her, I'm gonna like her, right? And come on over. And then all of a sudden she had 3 schools going, you're gonna come here and play soccer. And then and I was really surprised at that, right? Like I was surprised at that, and then I was really surprised that like with home, but I guess cameras are so much better than they used to be as well. Yeah. That they were shooting stuff on their phones that they could be able to show that wasn't amazing, but at least showed off, some of the things that we could do, right?
Yeah. And that's how you can tell a good soccer player from video.
But how do you do that? So John,
I ask for full game video. And you see the level that they're playing at as well. Like when I saw Jan, the boy from Barcelona, it took me about a minute and a half to watch his video. And I was messaging him back right away. And
you gotta come.
Another player of mine, Josh Banton, same thing. I mean, it literally took me five minutes on his video. Just I had to make sure, like, he wasn't BSing me on his video. I mean, he was so lightning fast and strong and quick. And, he played at a Division 1 in League 1 in the UK as well, which is, top professional league at 17, 18. So for me to land him as well, it was like these two, and now they're best friends here, going to school together, going to graduate together and stuff like that. But good quality video, and if you know the game and the level, you can see if a kid can play or not. Like I don't ask for a 2-minute, like a kid will send me 2-minute video clips, and it's like
all of them scoring, right? And you're like,
there's no bad things. It's like, send me
the full game.
Send me full game, so I can watch a full game. What's the level? Because you can easily find out what level it's at, what teams they're playing against, who they're playing against,
right,
and those type of things. So you can pretty much tell.
That's so cool. That stuff's like I think I sort of understand it for football. I really don't get it for soccer. I sort of understand it for hockey. Like some of the like what they do when they don't have, when they're not in the play. what they do when they don't have the puck. Like some of those things are, you kind of look at certain players and go, huh, they actually know where they're supposed to be, and then they're reading plays that they're not part of so they can be part of them, right? Like that stuff's, you don't, that's amazing stuff.
How much different is it now, John? Like, so in let's say April, May 2019 versus doing this in April, May 2020, April, May 2021, because in essence we've been closed down now for both 2 of the 3 of those time periods.
We've pretty much been going from the beginning of August, nonstop. Like still even now we're going three nights a week. Thank God we can start getting into some games starting at the end of June. But for our group, I've tried to maintain consistency, and I said to our guys, and we had great buy-in by our guys, last August, because a lot of schools, a lot of kids didn't even come back to school. All my internationals stayed.
They stayed home.
No, they stayed here.
They stayed here.
But they didn't go.
In campus. No, they didn't go. They stayed here.
Oh, wow.
They stayed here. So pretty much my whole team I've had from beginning of August, and we've been going nonstop.
We got horseshoes on that one.
Yeah, no, I just tried to say to the guys, listen, we got something to shoot for. We got nationals in 2022. We got something to build towards. We need to focus on what, and we focused on a lot of other things. We focused, like for me, I focused on core values, on team building, team chemistry, culture, those type of things. And although this year from maybe a soccer playing perspective wasn't great, we made up a lot of strides and gains in player culture and core values and team culture.
And they buy into it at that age, eh?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, they did. And when you've got a really good leadership team, a good core group that believes in it. And I think a lot of that had to do from the success we've had the last 3 years. And they see where this program is going and where it's heading. And we've been able to build a lot of things kind of on top of that. So it allowed them to believe that what we're trying to work on is,
well, winning can breed winners, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't always. I mean, we know a lot of players who've played on shitty teams and been exceptional.
Yeah,
but it does. I mean, once you learn how to win, it's
and then that's probably more of what I focused on the last couple of years was just that. It was team culture, player development, like all those type of things. And it's worked, and all the guys stayed here. We got them all jobs over the summer, and everybody stayed, and we're still training 3 nights a week. Like I said, I got practice a little bit later with the guys, and
it's still pretty remarkable though, because it's been a very interesting time in general.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and I went through I went through my tough moments as well for a couple months there, but I knew I had to stay focused for those guys, right? Because I had
light at the end of the tunnel anyway, right?
Yeah, and I asked them to believe in what I was doing, so I couldn't turn around and pitch a tent and kind of bail on them. So they picked me up a little bit too. So it was good.
That's good though, right? That shows they're teaching them, knowing that they're actually learning something, right?
No, absolutely.
That's great development.
So I'll be honest, nothing, a whole lot didn't change for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's
outside of the plane, outside of
actual games,
right?
Outside of actual competitive games, nothing really changed.
So how do you think they're going to be though? Because they haven't played really competitive in how long now?
It's 12 months. Well, that's not true. That's not true. We did actually have 6 or 7 games in September, October.
I thought you guys played a little bit in the
we
fall.
were allowed to play. Yeah, it was kind of February where it completely got shut down and no contact. So 6 months.
So, but you could be a 29-year-old, you play 10 years, 15 years at a high level, and a 6-month hiatus of a strike or whatever it is. Yeah. You tend to be able to probably bounce relatively quick because you had a lot of years to do this. How are you finding it with an 18, 19, a 20-year-old who's had 6 months off? Distraction on distraction, potentially.
Yeah, they've had off in the sense of not playing games, but we, every Sunday we go do fitness training. Our fitness levels are probably the best they've been.
Probably better than they've ever been, right?
Yeah. So worst case scenario, you run.
Good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Now playing games.
It's not the same though. It's not the same.
Playing, no. But your core kind of cardio is there. Now we're starting to build over the last kind of 3 weeks. We're starting to, make the field a little bit bigger, make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bit bigger, more contact, more, and we're slowly easing ourselves in. So by the time we get the games, you know, June 26th, 27th,
right,
you know, I think we'll be pretty good.
There is something to that, right? Like ball sports in particular, I find like the running, you know, my daughter and I, like, we run 3 times a week now, right? Like, because you gotta do the fitness thing. But then we finally, like, I'm in Ontario, so we haven't been allowed to do anything. And now we're finally able to, so she and I went to play tennis. And we came back and I just felt there's something about zoning into a moving object. I've always chosen sports over like fitness. Yeah. Right? Because there's a mental acuity to tracking a ball and the agility required to like manage a ball versus, okay, another kilometer to go, right? Like it's not the same thing at all.
One's a true endurance and one is it's hand-eye, right? It's a whole different play, right?
Yeah.
Although, I guess you don't want to trip when you're running, so maybe that's a little hand-eye.
But there's definitely like a mental edge to it, right? That like, gives you something when you come back.
Yeah, no, totally.
Things a little bit clearer.
Wow. Yeah, no. So it's been good. And, I once again consider myself pretty fortunate. It's not like I'm essential service or anything like that. So for me to be able to keep both positions and continue with the academy, for stretches there, we had to do a lot of virtual sessions and stuff with the academy, but the fact that I've been able to continue working.
What is important though? The sport's important. It's good for the school. It's good for the overall school. Yeah. I think that's why sometimes I don't think we put enough. I don't think people realize how important it was for sport to get back. Like how important it was to see. I don't watch much hockey anymore since the strike. I never really went back. But how important is to watch a puck drop? Yeah. How important is the crack of a baseball against a bat? Stupid things huge. That you don't think just are important, and they're so critical. Just to have an escape and get back into, hoping for something outside of your world, like rooting for the team.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just doesn't seem.
And it was good for these kids too. And, more than anything, it was just to keep them focused and moving and going. And, otherwise I think there would have been a lot of mental health issues, with a lot of these guys and gals, and, just to kind of keep them going, help
you too, though. But honestly, it keeps you going too, right? Because it can be pretty depressing when you go from high level play to basically you're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was tough. Yeah. So we had to work together as a group, but you know what? We made a lot of strides in some other areas and did some really good things. So
that's good. Did the kids have to get vaccinated and stuff like that, John, to play now, or what? How does that work out?
Them. We I get it. Them to get vaccinated, but the majority of my guys, like I can just offer my old wise guidance and hey guys, if we get vaccinated, we can get back quicker to doing the things that we
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That.
And it. I can't say get vaccinated, but
no, but ultimately, I mean, it's like, if you want to play, right? I mean, you're just it's just not smart, right? Really, more than anything. Exactly. I mean, if you want to play. Yeah. But when you get shot in the arm, come on, guys. Big picture.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. So, and the vast majority of guys have. There's 1 or 2 outliers and stuff like that.
It's okay. I mean, whatever. Everybody's got to have their own choice, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully, down the road, they understand that.
Maybe a soccer ball in the head will,
Absolutely.
Make them think a little bit, different. I'm just saying. I'm not saying to do that. I wasn't suggesting that. I'm just saying. Sometimes it can help. I don't know.
Accidentally.
You trip into a goalpost. Shit happens, right?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
No recommendations, Phil. I'm just talking.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens. Shoelace.
All right.
Whatever.
All right.
Shit happens. It's a tough world.
John, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. This has been
no problem, guys. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
I miss you, buddy. I haven't seen you in so long. I'm glad you came on.
Hey, no, it's nice. Anytime you want to chat.
Yeah, no, same.
Hopefully, I'll be in Vancouver soon because normally.
Let me know if you're coming down. We can actually finally go for a beer. So whatever.
I haven't been there for like 14 months because we're not allowed to go on a recruit or do anything. But I'm definitely usually I come in. It's a quick day or two, do some recruiting, watch a lot of games, and come.
Well, let me know if you're available. You're available. If you're busy, and I know what it's like because trust me, we're all the same. You're busy. You're busy. Do me a favor though. Just give Marco a little kiss on the cheek from Zio Ken. You just embarrass the shit out of him.
I will.
It's good for him.
I'll see his
character
in about 5 minutes.
It's gonna be just one on the cheek. So that's from Zio Kenny.
Okay.
And then the other one for Z Amy too.
Okay.
We don't want to, it's all about me all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Got to go for the ant as well.
What the hell, right? Exactly. Absolutely. Give Z a little crack.
Absolutely.
All good.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Johnny, love you, buddy. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Stay in touch, bud.
Okay, take care, man.
Okay, take care.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Nice to meet you, Phil. Bye.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. See ya.
Okay,
Bye.
stay on, Phil.
Yeah.
Go play soccer. Go.
He's so great.
John's awesome. I seriously, I love John. I do. I think he's just a great guy, right? You know, and it's funny when you talk to him, like they never had kids.
Yeah. And
yet he's so he's got that paternal thing built into him, right? Like,
yeah,
totally, right? I remember when Marco told me he was going to go, and we were talking about it. He goes, "What do you think, Zio?" And I said, "You know, Marco, you do whatever you want, but it's an opportunity." And I said, "I know John." I said, "First off, he'll take care of you. He'll make sure you do well, and you're going to play to a high level." Yeah. Because you know what they're all thinking? It's Kamloops. Come on, Zio. I know it's Kamloops.
Yeah.
But I also know who the person is. I don't give a shit what it could be. You know, whatever. I don't care. Butt crack Alberta, but go because the coach is worth going for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool though, eh? Look at that. 47, really 48. Cool. Drop a big job.
Yeah.
To hope and a prayer.
Yeah. I know. I love it.
Shows you it can be done though, right?
Yeah.
You know, and all those years of managing, I don't think killed him. I mean, I think if anything, you're managing 120 people and customers. I mean, I love the story because I think it really does speak to, you know, what you have to do, right? Like it isn't a magic moment, right? Because we get that a lot, right? We get people who are like, how do I know when it's the right time? Well, like you don't, right? You just prep, right? You prep. It's the work you put into it before.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's funny to say that you're right. It's not the time is going to come just because. It's sometimes it's all those years of work and the time comes.
Yeah.
But you can see it because you put the time into the work.
Agreed.
And it becomes different. If you didn't put the time in, the time may have come. You just didn't see it because you're not attuned to it, right? I don't know how to describe it. It's hard though, right? But you know, because you're right. The serendipity thing is sure to some degree.
But not really.
I don't think
it's really,
so.
Look, you do the work. I think what we all know in this biz, right, is if you do the work and you generate momentum, things happen.
Not always perfect and not always successful.
And not
shit
always
happens
the way that you think it will, right? But if you're working and you're hustling and you're making things happen, things happen.
Yeah, the odds are good.
And so he made things happen. And then, you know, he hung out and all, like, it's actually not that different from all the marketing stuff that we talk about, the sales stuff. He hung out in all the right circles. He did the work that needs to get done. And then his opportunity came up, right? And then he had enough training to recognize it. So I think
that's just it, right? Again, so not luck, not serendipity.
Yeah.
You know, it's more of you've created the momentum to hit the timing, hit that moment. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Like I think he did pretty well for himself. He's just a great guy.
I think if anything, the moments it's the opposite of serendipity, right? You saw the one successful moment, but there were a whole lot of me now,
exactly.
No, not
yet. No, not you. No, not for a while. But doing that, you're looking, you're knocking, right? I mean, just the caliber of kids he's getting in. Like I honestly, not in a billion years would I have thought that, you know, they're dragging kids in from Europe to go to fucking Kamloops. I like Kamloops, but come on.
I've actually been to Leverkusen. Like Leverkusen is a really nice city, like with some really
Barcelona.
Like
shit, the kid could have played in the hometown.
Barcelona, and you got to come to like
Kamloops.
Come on, you know, that's ridiculous.
No offense, Kamloops. Love Kamloops. But you know, those other cities are pretty impressive. Just so we're very clear. So be proud of yourselves.
Sorry, Kamloops. I don't know if I love Kamloops, but
Kamloops is nice. The area is nice.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and the people are nice. John's nice.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Go see John.
Awesome. That was great. I really love.
I like that too. It was a nice little break too. It wasn't always. I like the fact we haven't. That was a non-business one for a bit, even though it still sort of went down anyway. But that's all good. I liked it. I like him. All good.
Me too.
Okay.
Cool.
Big day tomorrow. We got shit to do tomorrow. Sounds like we got stuff going on. And
stop this for a second.